Well, congratulations, fourth grade, on a great Torah ceremony yesterday. The other half of fourth grade will be going next week right after Shavuot. So please rise, everyone, for Pledge of Allegiance. Put your hand over your heart, ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for our tikva. כל בלבב פנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ולפתי מזרח קדימה, היינו ציון סופיה, עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים, להיות חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. I am by night, Yam did it and ba da da ya ay 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 yam did it and ba da 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 ay 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 yam dam da da yam ba da da uva uchulam bivrit yachat nasev nishma amru ke'echad uva uchulam bivrit yachat nasev nishma amru ke'echad uva uchulam bivrit yachad ay 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 nasev nishma amru ke'echad ay 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 uva uchulam bivrit yachad ay 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 Nasev nishma amru ke'echad. Ayam pa-pum pa-da-bum pa-pa-da-dai. Yidam pa-pum pa-da-dum pa-pa-da-dai. Yam pa-pa-pum pa-da-dum pa-pa-da-dai. Yidam pa-pum pa-da-bum pa-pa. Hay-ay-ay-ay-ay-ay-ay-da-dai. Da-da-dum da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dum da-dai. Da-da-dum da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dum da-dai. Yam pa-pum pa-da-bum pa-pa. Yam pa-pa-da-dai-dai-dum da-dai. I am contented and papai. I am papam papai. I am papam pam. Thursday Torah service. Here we go. No Shomer Yisrael because we're the 3 days before Shavuot, and that's just not sad days; those are happy days. So here we go. Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, v'ein kema asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch li'olam va'ed. Adonai oz li'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim, heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion. Tivneh chomod Yerushalayim, Tivneh chomod Yerushalayim, Ki v'cha levat batachnu, Melech el Ram v'nisa Adon Olam Amim. Vayehi v'nsoa Haaron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha, v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Udevar Adonai miHyerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Liamo Yisrael Bichdushato Bebe'anarachetz Vilish Mekadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbechan Be'anarachetz Be'anarachetz V'lishme Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbechan. Sorry, that's it in Yehera Avakadamach Tiftach Liba Iba Oraita Vitashli Mishalin Delibai Deliba Dechol Amach Yisrael Latav L'chaim V'lishlam Amen. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Now you Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadoshemo Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadoshemo Gadlu Ladonai Tihiu Neramoshemo Yachtav. Time for some Torah. Let's do our bracha. First we'll do Mereshit Noach Lech Lecha Vayerech Hayeh Sarah Todot Vayetze vayishlach vayeshev mihiketz vayigash vayichi Shmot. Shmot va'era bo b'shalach yitro mishpatim. Ten Commandments. Yitro mishpatim. Trumat tetzaveh, trumat tetzaveh, ki tisa vayagel pekudei. Trumat tetzaveh, ki tisa vayagel pekudei. Vayikra tzav shemini tazriya mitzora acharei mot kedoshim amor behar bechukotai bemibar naso beha'alotcha shlach korach chukat balak pinchas matot masei dvarim ve'echanan kever shoftim ki tetzei ki tavo nisavim vayelech ha'azinu v'zot habracha ha'azinu v'zot habracha. Let's say the bracha for beginning to read Torah. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai notein haTorah. Sorry, I have a telephone call, but it's soon over. So what I want to look at is the Ten Commandments today. You may have noticed that when we were going through the Parshiot of the Torah, there was not one, but there was actually two Ten Commandments. Here's the first one, and here is the next one. And wait a second, something is weird going on here because I just showed you the word that I'm pointing to is the very first word of the commandments that talks about observing Shabbat. But look at this. They actually have different words. One of the commandments says, Shamor Yom HaShabbat L'Kodsho, guard Shabbat and keep it holy. And the other one says, Zachor Yom HaShabbat L'Kodsho, remember Shabbat and keep it holy. Wait a second, what's going on? First of all, why is it that we have two Ten Commandments in the Torah? Well, here's the interesting thing. Torah number 1, which is given from Mount Sinai, and we hear God speaking, that is a Torah that what happens to? That's right. That Torah is destroyed. Why? Because Moshe comes down from the mountain holding the Torah or holding the Ten Commandments and smashes it because he sees everyone praying to the golden calf. Then Moshe goes back up again, gets a new set of Ten Commandments, and right before the Israelites are about to enter Israel, right before Moshe is about to die, Moshe gives a summary of all the highlights of the Torah. And surprise, surprise, one of those great highlights was Mount Sinai when God gave the Torah. And so Moses says, oh, and by the way, here are the Ten Commandments that God gave us. So this time it's not God talking, it's Moshe talking in as if God was speaking. And look at this. The words are different. So we have two sets, one set and two sets. Zachor Yom HaShabbat L'Kodsho, Shamor Yom HaShabbat L'Kodsho. So now we know why there are two different times that the Ten Commandments are talked about in the Torah. But why the difference in language? Is that Moses opening up and reading those different words? Or were actually different words in the Torah? So if you can just take a vote as a class, who believes that actually both Torahs say Zachor Yom HaShabbat L'Kodsho, and Moses in the second one here is saying, I think what God's saying is not Zachor but Shamor. So is Moses interpreting? Raise your hand if you think it's that. Or raise your hand to say, no. God, when Moses opens the Torah, he reads in the Torah Shamor because the words are changed. So the question is why? Why would, if that's the case, the second one is the case, why would God change the words of the Torah from Zachor Yom Shabbat to Shamor Yom Shabbat? This is a totally hard question, right? So if we look at this, we've got slaves recently freed from Egypt. God comes down from Mount Sinai, giving the Torah to the people and calls out, remember Shabbat. But then those same Israelites, when they're on their way right before Egypt, God says, observe or guard Shabbat. Why would it be that that now God needs a different word in the Ten Commandments? Why was remember good for the slaves versus Shamor is good for people entering into the land? That is a hard question, but if you can answer it, you would win Lots of praise from Rabbi Light. All right. So blessing afterwards, everyone. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. I will give you one answer before you finish. So, and this answer is one of my favorite answers. It comes from the Kli Yakar, one of the rabbis who looked really closely at the Torah. And here's what the Kli Yakar says. When God gave the Israelite people the Torah, God didn't really know who was going to get the Torah, right? God was going to maybe give it to one group or another group. He didn't quite know who was going to say yes. So he has something, the word remember, because everyone can remember. But once he knows that actually it's the Israelites that have accepted the Torah, then, and God has an opportunity to rewrite the Torah because the first set was, or the Ten Commandments, because the first set was smashed. God rewrites it thinking about who the people he's giving it to and said, I think when the Israelites, they don't need just to remember Shabbat. They need to actively be doers of Shabbat. That's a pretty good answer. All right, let's move on to Ki lekachto of natati lachem, or try that. Ki lekachto of natati lachem. This is new. To ra'ati al tazovu. Now you. To ohorati al ta'azovu. Now me. Eitz chayim hi. Now you. Eitz chayim hi. Now me. Lamachazikim ba'ah. Lamachazikim ba'ah. V'tomche ehame ushar. V'tomche ehame ushar. Derache echa. Derache echa. Darcheno oam. Darcheno oam. V'choniti voteha. Shalom v'choneti voteha. Shalom hashivenu Adonai. Hashivenu Adonai. Elecha v'nashuva. Elecha v'nashuva. You can see this word Kadesh Yameh Einu Keket Edem. Kadesh Yameh Einu Keket Edem. It's a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all those his supporters are clappy. It's a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of his supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Ushmor tzeiteinu oeinu chayim u'l'shalom yatavi ad olam ufros aleinu su'ukat shelem